Hello, welcome. Bible Alone came out, and with it, there's a new air designer. And people have asked me, how do you build your CAS? How do you build your tactical bombers? And I've been doing some tests, and all I can really say is, man, did old CAS just have like no ground attack. So let's go over some CAS designs I've been messing around with. So I tried out just a super cheap model. We put one bomb lock on it, dive brakes for a little bit of air defense, and then a level 2 engine. Just enough to take off, not too slow. 22.5 IC. It only has 6 ground attack. The idea behind this one was to just get the air support bonus in combat, nothing else. Here's the thing, it doesn't do much, and it gets shot down pretty easily by AA. On top of that, because we can design planes now, you can actually overpower AA to the point where you're actually doing decent damage even though they're getting a 70% reduction in your damage output. So I wouldn't go for cheap ones. I think you have really two options here. A decent middle ground. I mean, this design only has 18 ground attack, 27.5 IC, decent range, 1200, and I'm just using 3 bomb locks here. We've got some naval attack, but not much. I mean, it might help you sink some subs. I don't think going for small bomb bays are worth it. It's 2 extra ground attack, but it's 3 more IC. It's an extra 5 agility penalty, and it doesn't enable naval strike. It enables port strikes, which is really weird. Let's just keep going and going over the rest of them. Rocket rails are slightly worse than bomb locks, but they maintain your agility. Here's the thing, you should not be using CAS unescorted, so I don't think that's that big of a deal. And then your anti-tank cannons. These are very expensive, but they're very good. However, this is the middle ground where you're not spending too much, but you're getting some performance out of it. If you're going for an expensive one, well, that's this design. You've got your anti-tank cannon 2. This is 1940 AT Tech. It gives you 15 ground attack just by itself. This design actually has 27 overall, and that is largely off the anti-tank cannon. And then I'm just putting 2 extra bomb locks with it. You can put an anti-tank cannon and an anti-tank cannon 2 on the same plane, because for some reason, like, you can't put more than one on, but they're not considered the same. And if you did that, you do end up with 29, but you're adding 2 ground attack for 4 IC. It's actually way more than that because you actually need a 2 engine setup. Now, of course, you could drop off the bomb bay, but now you're down to 23. You saved an IC, but I think something along this line is going to be your max ground attack CAS for when you're trying to maximize your ground attack, overpower enemy AA. And if you really needed to, you could add in more fuel tanks or armor plates. It does have the weight capacity for an extra armor plate if you want that extra little bit of air defense. I'm going to show you the difference between the decent and the max. Just going to use 300 of each. I know there's the IC cost difference, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. So now I'm going to attack in the top and bottom. We're going to compare. The bottom one is just the decent. The top one is the max. It's not actually the max, but it's pretty close to the max. And it's definitely not really IC efficient to get to the max. So that's 2 days worth of combat. In the top here, we've got 39 and 23, which is 62. Now, weather is off, so they did do 3 sorties rather than 2, but that's still really good. Down here, 24 and 15. So 40 versus 60 damage. Let's go back and look at the IC costs of these. That's a 50% increase in damage. That's not a 50% increase in cost. A 50% increase in this cost would be 40. So it's definitely more IC efficient to just build CAS that just has basically as much ground attack as you can feasibly put on it. And the cheap one performs even worse. It would have done like 10 damage. It's not even worth showing you. It's just like you want to max out your CAS. So when it comes to CAS, that's what I've come across. You do want to stack as much ground attack as you can feasibly put on it. Don't start adding, 8 IC worth of cost for 2 ground attack, but as long as you're going up in good increments like we were there, that's what you should be doing. Now, for tactical bombers, a jack of all trades sort of thing going on here where you just spend a lot of IC and you get, the ability to do everything decently. 18 ground attack isn't horrible. If we put an electronic on here like a bomb sight, all of a sudden we have 14.4 ground attack. Not horrible. Give it an armor plate or 2, and all of a sudden, this thing can kind of do everything you need, but you're going to be spending a lot, and for half this price, you can increase your ground attack by 50%, but you're not going to get strat bombing. I don't hate the idea of a jack of all trades medium bomber. I don't think you should be going for pure ground attack tactical bomber. You just can't put enough ground attack on to make the IC worthwhile. At best, if I make this as expensive as possible, I can get us up to 34 ground attack for 71 IC. For half that, I can get you to 27. I don't think specializing in ground attack is the way to go with your tactical bombers. Either a jack of all trade, or maybe you cut out the naval part of it and you just go for a bit of strat bombing with your bomb sights and a bit of ground attack, and you're still looking at a really expensive plane, but at least you can do both, and strat bombing is not easy to come by. Anyways, I think for ground attack, you should definitely be using Cas. You can still get Cas at 1450 range, which is all the range you need for Cas. If you're going to use tactical bombers, I would go for a jack of all trades thing. Like that's the only real purpose to them. You don't want to build specialized aircraft, but you are paying a cost for that. It is quite a hefty price, but it is something you can do. Oh, and I do want to reiterate one thing, just because people really get upset about this. This is the best fighter you can build. Even adding an extra fuel tank here, this still outtrades the meta heavy fighter. This meta nonsense. It's not good. Like it's not bad, but it doesn't win. This guy, even with the extra fuel tank, will still outtrade that one IC for IC. I'm not kidding. Even if you do the tests based on the logistics tab and you delete all of your extra stuff, still wins. I don't know. The multiplayer community, they can keep huffing their copium if they want. That fighter is better than their heavy fighters. I don't care what they say. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.